Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hang Out with Oshwari. Thank you for joining today's episode. And we'll just go right into it. Just before we do that, let me talk about what's in my cup. All right, in my cup today, I have a tea. I have hibiscus tea. It is a beautiful tea in color. It has dark red colors. I love the color, and the flavor is beautiful too. And the benefits of hibiscus tea, one of it is that it has antioxidant. I believe every tea has that from what I've seen. And that always help with anti-inflammation, and it also helps regulate blood pressure. It helps regulate sugar level, cholesterol, and it helps with weight loss. I love that. All right, and it helps purify your liver, detoxify your liver, and also your kidney too. So it is a great tea. All right, and let's get right into it. Okay. I'm very excited about today's episode. You know why? I have a special guest. And this special guest is my friend. I'm bringing in my friends and everyone so far. Yeah, we've been friends for many years, okay, all the way from uni days. And she is a lady with many hats. I can tell you that for free. I'm glad she agreed to do this with me. Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to Hang Out with Ashwari, Emike Osumah from Lagos, Nigeria. All right. Thank you so much, Emike. I know you're a very busy lady. Thank you for accepting to do this. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
All
thank
right.
you. All right, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here finally. I know we've tried to schedule this, but we are here, and I am so
Yes.
delighted. Thank you, thank
Yes.
you,
Yes. Thank you so much again for accepting to do this. All right.
thank you.
We're just going to get right into it quickly. First of all, let's meet Emike Osumah. Tell us about this lady that has so many things going on.
All right, so of course, like my name is Emike Osuma. I am a wife, I am a mom, I am an author. By the grace of God, I've authored 7 books. I'm still counting. I am founder,
Awesome.
editorial director at Purple Ink Shed. Purple Ink Shed is a creative writing and publishing business where we basically help work aspiring authors through the journey of writing from the first draft to the finished book. There's usually this blurry middle. People don't know, okay, what do I do next? I want to write a book. So we give hand holding from scratch to the final book. So yeah, that is it about me. I live in Lagos, Nigeria, like she had said, and I am happy to be here once again.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to go right into one very question that I've been itching to ask. It is a great opportunity to ask that question. All right. I've heard so many stories of how men of God propose. Now, this is what I want to ask. First of all, I think it's going to be two questions in one. How did you meet a dear man of God? I'm not going to call his name yet. I'll give it. I want you to call his name by yourself.
Uh,
And how did you meet him? And how did he propose? Did he say God said? The Holy Spirit said? What did he say? How did he not start? Can you tell us about
okay.
that?
Thank you for this question. I did mention, of course, I'm a pastor, so I'm married to a pastor. I did say that when I was
Yeah.
introducing myself. So yes, I'm married to a pastor, and we met on campus. My husband is Pastor Anthony Osuma. We met on
Yeah.
campus in our uni days, and he was one of the assistant pastors in our fellowship. In fact, at the time, he was the only assistant pastor in the fellowship then. Before we subsequently had other assistant pastors, but yeah, he was assistant pastor then. He was very prominent, very vibrant, and all of that. So yeah, we met in fellowship. So the question how he proposed, funny enough, a few days ago I was teasing him that he's owing me a grand proposal.
I believe every one of them is
A grand proposal because we're watching a very popular pastor here in Nigeria who
owing.
proposed Right, I'm telling you,
Yeah, I saw the video.
so we don't just it together. So like, can you see? You are owing me, so
I did
yeah,
that
that's
too.
you know. I'm telling you, our WhatsApp group is very large. I told him, I said, so that pastor was proposing like he did not have enough money then to buy her a proper ring and do all that ceremony,
Exactly. So when
you
you have
know.
money, you need to do it.
So he did it after 20 years, 20 whole years. So I told him, we laughed about it, that you didn't do this kind of thief gang
Yeah,
for me
mine
before.
said he still has time. That 20 years is a little bit far. So
Ah, okay. When Jesus do come, better do it. you know, so basically, we when we met, our connection was instant. Like we hit it off. We hit it off because we had. It's not because he was a pastor. I always say that because it's not every pastor that you marry and say, this was the will of God for my life, or you
no,
guarantee
yeah,
peace.
that's not how it
Yes,
works. That's
exactly. So the basic line was his heart. This was a child of God. My husband is first a Christian before he's a pastor. So that was the most important thing for me. His heart, his values. The best way I can describe it is that we met at the feet of Jesus. We
oh
had the
wow,
same thing attracting us, together. Of course, then there was the physical attraction eventually, but that was
yeah.
our basic where we started off. We had the same values, and all of that. He did not tell me God told me you are my wife. He didn't say all that, but when they will bully you into marriage, he didn't do that, right? So it was many things. There were so many connecting dots along the journey, several dots that were connected. One thing I remember was that when I was in my youth fellowship then in my former church, before I came to got admission into the university and got into that fellowship at that time, one thing he said, our youth leader said, was like, you don't necessarily have to tell somebody God told me. It's your place to own your conviction with God, right? Between you and God.
Right.
He said one thing you should look out for is that most of the time when God is involved, he said there will be your connection will be mutual, and then there will
Mm.
be peace. I was young. I think I was 15 when he said that. So imagine that thing sank. It was like my Rema word, right? So it
Yeah.
stayed with me. So that was what basically led us. So when I met him, we just synced at several levels. Like I said, there were different things connecting the dots. Like him meeting my mom before he met me in his faculty in
Oh.
school. Yes, my mom was walking in front of him and he was walking behind her. She just got down. She was faculty officer then in his faculty. So he was looking at her like, this woman looks like such a godly woman. She looks like she will have very godly
Are you
daughters.
serious?
Like she has daughters that will be wife materials. That his heart he just loved her. I'm telling you, he didn't know who she was. He just loved her. Like, I just like this woman. She
Oh
has this
no.
mother heart. Do you get? So that then I not even gained admission into uni
Wow.
when I met my
Wow.
mom. Yeah, so that was few
Wow.
months before we resumed in year one. So when I resumed, and after the whole of year one, that's when he connected the dots. When he met my older siblings, he was like, oh, okay, that woman, she's your mom, Mrs. Sumori is your mom. We're like, yes. We're like, wow. It was much later when we now became close. He was not telling me that story. That look at how I met your mom. That I could not remove that picture from his head. That this woman,
My
she looks like someone that
goodness.
raised worthy daughters. I'm telling you. So
Wow.
so by the time we met, we became close and all of that. He didn't beat about the bush. He did not say, oh, I just want you to be my friend. He was not looking for a girlfriend and all of that.
That's how
Yeah, it
we
was
do
there
it
for
here.
right?
We
So it
go
was
straight to the
in
point here.
where he popped the question. That's why we're still fighting today. Was along the bush path, my sister, bush path. All of that.
Oh my goodness. How much? I think I'll get to tell my story one day too.
So I can also laugh. It was a bush path, and then the bush path had these crunchy leaves on the floor instead of rose petals. We had crunchy leaves on the floor.
We
So
can do
that
the
was
roast better.
But funny enough, I didn't feel like I missed anything. It was just there was just peace. Like something, this was divinely orchestrated by God. But I told him something like,
Yeah.
you have taught also that when a brother is interested in his sister, you should go and tell the pastor first. So you cannot be telling me first, go and meet our pastor. And then, okay,
Oh.
met our pastor. In fact, he said he fasted and prayed for 3 days before he went to meet our pastor. And then when he gave the approval, then our relationship was now official, But like they say, the rest is history. So that was how it
Yeah.
turned out. Yes.
That is awesome. Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. The fact that he met your mom first, that is, my
Yeah.
goodness. I
Very
think God
striking.
speaks to us in different ways. So
Yeah.
when he now met you, so it was pretty like it was easy. Like I knew this before now. Like that's what I'm just thinking. Okay, that's beautiful. Okay, and you've been married for many years, at least 16 years, if I'm not mistaken.
16. Yes,
Right?
16 years. Yes.
16 years is not beans. It's not six
At
months.
all.
It's not
Mm-mm,
6 days. It's not 16 hours. I think I've heard of people that married for just few hours and it ended. Uh,
I'm telling you. I'm
yeah,
telling
so there
you.
has to be something. I mean, it's working. That's why you people have been together. I mean, for this long, and you're happy and everything. So one thing I want to ask that I'm pretty sure is a trouble for people that are married. What is your advice on conflict resolution? Like what in marriages? What do you think? How do we go about it so that I mean that's one thing I believe is a problem. I've seen that is a problem for married couples.
Okay. All right. So basically, the first thing I'll say is that um, God's idea for marriage was for the man and the wife to be a team, right?
Mm,
So after all is said and done, you are not two individuals who have
right.
different purposes, different visions. So your marriage is not my marriage is not about me. The marriage is
Mm,
not about, right? So we are a team. So when we
18,
always have that, that's one of the things that has helped us, that we are pulling in the same
18.
direction. So when there's a
Mm,
conflict, we know that this is not about us trying to, like, divide between who is right or who is wrong. We
mm,
always remember there was something that I'm grateful to God for, that He just helped us have that singular vision, so that
mm.
when there's conflict, our priority is to come back and quickly resolve the
Resolve.
conflict.
Mm,
Yeah, so the focus is, if you remember that we are a team pulling in the same direction, you can't stay too long with something standing like a wall between you.
mm,
I think that's simple far. But when there's a lot of ego, a lot of that clarity is not there, that this thing is a vision we are doing together, you will easily get
mm.
petty. I know all of us get petty, right? Every now and then, okay?
Yeah.
But you cannot stay there for long. Do you understand? You
Yes.
can't stay there for long. So that helps you to quickly resolve issues. Although there are several kind of conflicts, right? Some are basic. And by the grace of God, we have not had a kind of conflict where we require like a third party. So, but when you
Mm,
get to that place where you know that you require a third party, because you still hold before you that truth that you are a team, you will seek the right counsel and
mm.
ensure that that issue is resolved. So look at yourself as a team first and always. Conflict will not be such a big deal to resolve. Yeah.
Awesome. Look at yourself as a team. I like that. So the fact that you are a team, I think that's my stand too. I've always said that because I mean that means we're looking out for each other. And then another thing that I would actually like to add to that is that the fact that you're a team and then you end it quickly and you don't let it pile up because at the point of piling up, if you don't resolve the first one, then when the second or third one happens, you're now referring to the first one. And again, at some point, you have piled up too much things and then it becomes trouble that gets out of hand. So thank you so much. Yeah, we're a team. Married people are a team. All right. And okay, I think number let's go. Okay, then the fact that you're a pastor's wife. All right, that is awesome. And you've been a pastor's wife for a very long time. And I just want you to tell us what would you say is the primary responsibility of a pastor's wife? First of all, to his vision and also to him being because he's a man, like as a person himself and then to his vision.
Okay. So my answer may not be what everybody's expecting. They may expect some deep,
Mm,
deep thing. Your most important role as a pastor's wife to that pastor is being his wife.
mm,
Yes. That's the
mm,
only role that cannot be delegated.
mm,
Even though you are the head of admin in church, You are head of children's church, you are head of choir as pastor's wife. You can't delegate all of that. Your most important role is being his wife,
This one.
being present in your office as his wife, right? Ensuring that this man has, like I like to describe it, he has safe laps to rest his head. You know, Samson, what brought him down was that he put his head on the wrong lap.
On the wrong
You know, the
lap.
right person
Woo!
lifted him, but he
Strong.
put his head on the wrong
Ooh.
laps. That is the
Ooh.
most important rule, right? So, of course,
It's
backing
powerful.
that, at the foundation of that is that you are the one covering him in the place of prayer. I always tell people, I say, I don't believe anyone else is praying for my husband. I pray for him like I'm the only one. So you are the
Mm.
only person covering him. It's your role to cover him. It's your role to sit in your office as his wife. Behind the scenes, especially. That's the most important role, frankly. Yeah.
Awesome. I like that. Ooh, I like that. Awesome. Thank you so much. So, oh, I'm not going to say anything. I'll leave it there because you just hit the nail. All right. And I think we're going to round up with this. Okay. And then we'll round up with this. And then after we round up with this last question, then I'll say something after that, on how we'll continue this. But the last question, I wrote them down because I didn't want to forget them. The last question for me is this: and did you find purpose before you became a pastor's wife or after?
Okay, thanks for that question. First and foremost, there's a lot of misconception around the idea of purpose, and all of that. So basically, as long as you're a believer in Christ Jesus, we have one purpose, and that one purpose is to know Christ and make him known. What is different
Mm,
is our assignment, right? Is
mm,
our assignment in the line of our purpose. So
hallelujah.
assignments will evolve. My
Mm,
assignments have evolved through the years, through different seasons, but my purpose has been the same: to know
mm,
Christ, to make him known. Okay. So for someone who is a tailor, for example, who has found her purpose, is going to show in the kind of apparel that she's designing. So that is an
mm.
assignment. Yeah. That's the
Hallelujah.
assignment in making Christ known. So I found my purpose before I met my husband. And then my assignment also was delivered to me. But funny enough, God used my husband to fine-tune my assignment. I always had this
Mm.
desire to write. So I knew that that was one of my assignments, to write. From when I was as young as 5 years old, I started writing. So when I met my husband, one of those days, I went to the fellowship secretariat. I actually was working with him as his admin assistant, or his secretary in that season. School was on break, and then I had to fill in for that season for about several months, right? So that was where we actually started from. We had this admin working relationship. So one of the days I
Oh,
came there to the secretariat, and then he called me. He said he had something he wanted to give me. So he asked me if I'd heard about Francine Rivers. So I was like, no, I don't know that name. So he gave me a pack. He said this is an audio book. I'd never heard of an audio book. I've never seen an audio book until that time. So like, go and listen to it. She writes Christian story, or like Christian story. I never heard anything like Christian fiction. We only knew Mills and Boom and all of that in our days while we were growing up. So I took that audio book home, and nothing prepared me for what I was going to encounter. It was
wow.
so beautiful to hear such a beautiful love story, but God's prints were everywhere in the story. You could feel the presence of God listening to the story. I remember I had to go into an impromptu fast. I couldn't eat. I would listen to it, I'll pause, I'll just be weeping and wailing. Then it
Wow.
just dawned on me that you are supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to write stories and weave the gospel into it. That was where that vision came alive. So yes, I found my purpose, but God used my husband to fine-tune my assignment in that season.
This is nice. All right. Okay. Yes. So, like I said, that was the last question. And by the grace of God, Emike Osumah is going to be coming back because I have some other questions in my mind that she's not answering. I would not want to make this too long. I like that we're still within 20 minutes. I'm going to run this up quickly. I'll just go over. I mean, Emike told us how she met her husband. Beautiful story right there. You could tell that the hand of God was in all this. And then one thing I want to also just say that pastor's wife has just the assignment is to be their husband's wife. And then while you were saying that, something popped up. I know I said no want to say anything. I remember something popped up. Eve was a helper. So as a wife, you are a helper. So if you help your husband as a pastor's wife, I mean, I think that's your ministry as a pastor's wife is actually fulfilled. Help all around, help all around. So that's awesome. And just to round this off, did you have any other thing before we go? Anything to say?
Okay, okay. I know we're going to have another part, but before we wrap up here, I just wanted to chip this in. Maybe we'll talk more about it. I just want to
Okay.
help any maybe the young pastor's wife listening and watching this episode. I want to maybe bust your bubble. There is no office as office of the pastor's wife. It will free you. You are a Christian woman married to a man called by God. Once you settle into that, your life will become easy. Focus on being a Christian. You'll be all right.
Focus
Yes, I
on
just
being a
thought to chip.
Christian. That's beautiful. Yeah.
Yes.
Focus on being a Christian. You're answerable to God. Awesome. All right. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for watching this. Emike, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it. We've learned a lot. We've learned a lot today. Thank you so much. And yes, Emike is coming back very soon. All
Okay.
right.
All right. Thank you
Bye.
for having me. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.